Well, congratulations on achieving your Lifetime's Award. What has it actually meant to you?
Well, first of all, it was a great honour, and I suppose in many ways quite humbling, because it's a recognition. It's also quite interesting to look back at all those people who received it before and thinking, hey, do I stand alongside them? Many actually are quite good friends. So, I was very grateful to receive the award. So I think I said on the night, it is very humbling, but it also brings together a whole lot of things over your career.
Has the award made a difference to you since?
That's an interesting question. I mean, in one sense, I suppose no, but in another sense, it actually does cause you to look back and think about those things, particularly as in the succeeding months we've had the UK leaving the European Union, and we've had another range of key issues coming to the fore. So it's always interesting to look back, but I tend to be one of those people who likes to look back as a platform to going forward. So it's caused me to think back what I might have done differently, but in particular, what are the things which we did? How can we then build on those for future opportunities?
How did you find the event itself? Is it a good advertisement for regulatory affairs?
I think it is. I mean, I suppose I can look back. I was president at the time when we first had this idea of making an awards and seeing how it's evolved over the last 10 years. I think what it's become is a key point on the regulatory agenda. But I think what's great is that you see people from across a whole different series of facets. I mean, the first thing that strikes you, I think, is how broad our profession is. People in so many different areas. And I think what it allows us is to come together and see people perhaps we don't see quite so often. It was great on that night seeing so many really long-standing friends there, people from different backgrounds, but also I think we see people from different parts of our wide industry, and it shows how international we are as well.
Has your experience made you think about nominating anybody yourself for the next year's event?
I certainly, to be very honest, I have nominated people in the past, both from my wider circle, but also people I've seen who've contributed to Topra. So I've done that. I think it makes it even more so in the future. I've not done so for a Lifetime Achievement Award. Must think about that as well. But I think that's a slightly different track. But yes, I think it does make you feel, when you sense how grateful you are and the recognition, to redouble the efforts to think about other people.
Are the awards a force for good within the profession?
Yes, I think they are. I think it's great to recognise people. I suppose I always think back to my old headmaster, who always used to say, in fact, he used to refer to the great speech and prayer of Sir Walter Raleigh before the Armada. It's not the winning, it's the taking part that matters. And I think in a way that's right. By recognising a whole range of people, not everybody's going to win a particular award, but just for the teams coming together and the 3 or 4 groups, up to 6 sometimes, who are read out, that in itself is very important. I think also spurs people on to say, we might have won it this year, but actually redouble their efforts for next year. So I think it is good. And I've always believed that competition, as long as it's well controlled like this is, in a great atmosphere, is good.
You've been Topra's board advisor for external relationship for several years now. Helping to build regulatory capacity across the world is something that Topra is committed to. How does your external relations advisor support this? How does your role support this?
Well, I suppose having been involved in Topra for a long period of time, but also very much involved as the Global Senior Vice President, but also my role in IFPMA, I see firsthand what's going on across the world. I was fortunate to be at the NEPADS conference, which was back in the autumn, which was held between Zimbabwe and Zambia. When you see the great work that's going on there, how WHO is building regulatory capacity in Africa, but also across parts of Southeast Asia, I think you realise the role that a body such as Topra can play, and indeed does play. I think we see a number of our prominent members who are involved in that area. I think also there's opportunity for the future. Indeed, tried to push this when I was involved actually as president, working with bodies like DFID. So we have people, if you think about it, in the Topra environment who are coming towards the end of their careers, perhaps retired or moved on into consultancy, who are they are time rich, they've got all the knowledge, and people like that can play a huge role. So can we use that? Could Topra be a convening centre? Could it be an intermediary? So there's a great piece of work there. I think also that Topra can play a role in being a safe harbour. So I think some things which we're doing around through the summit conferences which we're taking forward, good plug for that one this year, do come along. But also I think some of those safe harbours, we can bring people together and we can start to knit them, particularly in pharmaceuticals, but medical devices and more broadly.
As a profession, how can regulatory professionals best support their colleagues in the developing world?
Again, a very interesting question. I think in one way it's allowing perhaps for training. So I think there's a very great need for training taken forward. ICH has now established a major platform for training, and I think that Topra can play into that both as a society and encouraging its members to take part. I think there are opportunities for exchange visits. I know some of the work we've been doing, Topra's been doing with CORE and other parts of the world, that's really great. I think equally some of the courses we run, people come forward, and that's excellent. I remember, I think it was a few years ago, we gave an award, didn't we, for achievement to one of the regulators and one of the companies who've been developing a vaccine in Cuba. The impact of that was huge. So I think we shouldn't underestimate the amount that just by being there, Topra does, but I think there are very specific things we can take forward in training, in support, and I think there'll be more opportunities in the future.